Hello everyone, my name is Sergeant Phoenix, and this video is a little bit different, something I've never really put on my channel, but you know what? Yeah, let's go for it. While I was at Gamescom, I put a tweet out to you guys to let you know myself, Chat, Azzy, and the two Scotsmen going to be interviewing Steve. I always get this guy's name up, Papoutsis. I probably got that pronounced that wrong, so I do apologise, Steve. Basically, Steve is the Battlefield Hardline executive producer. And we asked him a bunch of questions, some of them hard hitting, some of them were just a bit light-winded, so to speak. Apologies about the lack of videos. I've been really busy over the last couple of weeks, and there's a couple of things come up in my own life that sort of overshadowed everything. So, starting to get back in an even keel. Expect more videos out soon. I'm going to put a video soon explaining sort of what's going to be happening and the regular sort of schedule I'm going to stick to, which I've sort of agreed in my own head I'm going to do. So anyway, I'll let the video play on. I hope you enjoyed the interview. Thanks for all the support, guys, and I'll catch you in the next video. Bye for now.
So we have Steve from Battlefield Hardline. He's the producer.
Yep, that's me. Hi, how you doing? Hi guys. Hey, hey.
We're going to ask Steve some questions that you guys asked on Twitter. So if you want to go first, Azzy.
Will there be a premium, Steve?
Ooh, that's a good question. Will there be a premium? I think right now we're really focused on making sure we take all the feedback from the community and make the regular super awesome. So we're really focused on that. But we definitely have had some talks and ideas around what we could do if we got an opportunity to make a premium. So I would stay tuned to hear more about that soonish.
Red?
It was announced at the press conference about esports.
Yep.
What sort of esports features are you looking to implement into Hardline?
So the first thing that we've talked about has been our rescue mode that you guys got to play today at the show. And that's, you know, a highly competitive 5-on-5 match type with permadeath. And so that's one piece, but we're also going to have our spectator mode that will go in to make sure people can watch their friends play and do videos and things like that. And we have maybe something else we're going to talk about a little bit later that's also maybe in that esports kind of thing. But, you know, it's really cool right now because there's just it's blowing up. Everybody's, you know, hardcore gamers are getting into esports more and more, and it just seems like something that would be awesome for Battlefield to do. So, you know, we're trying some things, so stay tuned. Have some more news on that. Good question. Hope my answer was okay.
It seems like there's a resounding opinion that Hardline's not a Battlefield game because it's not a war game. You know, how are you guys going to combat that kind of attitude that people seem to have?
That's a good question. You guys are tough, right? Straight to the point. It's a tough crew here, hanging out with some tough questioners.
I'm tough.
Yeah, definitely.
I'm
definitely.
tough.
For sure tough.
I don't need to talk.
Double tough.
I bench 500.
That's a lot of benching. So, to answer your question, there are a lot of people that are questioning whether or not Battlefield Hardline's a true Battlefield game. And I think, you know, I could say, of course it is. But you know what? It doesn't matter what I say. I think ultimately what matters is when people play it. So, days like today where we can have gamers actually play it and make up their own mind, that's what's most important, to let players decide for themselves. I will tell you guys one thing. When we started working on this game, we had a high degree of respect and reverence for Battlefield. Having played it since the very first Battlefield game, I know how fun it is and I know how much it means to the community. And the last thing I'd want to ever do is be involved with a game that pretended to be Battlefield. So we're working really hard to make sure we maintain that competitive balance, that great rock, scissors, paper gameplay, the teamwork and the strategy. We're trying to make sure all that stuff's in Hardline. So, you know, that's my honest opinion. I could just tell you what the team and I are trying to do. I think you guys at home watching this have to decide for yourself. You know, we took our first step at E3 when we announced the game. We didn't just announce the game and then have everybody go, bollocks, this is crap. That's not Battlefield. No, what we did was we announced the game and then we immediately put a beta up live. Why? Why, you may ask? Was that one of your questions?
Why?
The reason why we did that was so that people could actually play it and make their own decision about it. So not only was that good for letting people get a chance to play it, but it was good for us because we got to get feedback from people like you guys about maybe what was good, maybe what was bad, maybe what sucked, and we could actually take the time to improve the game through that feedback. So I'll throw it back to everybody. If you don't think the game is a Battlefield game and you've played it, that's cool. That's your decision. But from my perspective, send us some feedback that maybe we can use to make it meet your expectations more, because we want to make a great game. But at the end of the day, we're excited and passionate about making a Battlefield game. We're working with guys like these guys here to really listen to the community and try to make sure it lives up to the standards that the fans have for the series. Cool?
Awesome.
Alrighty.
Will we see any massive game-changing Revolutions events in Hardline, as in Battlefield 4 had?
Yep, so we've got our own version of Evolution in the game. In Rescue, I don't know if you guys noticed, but we got a couple of them. One of them is being able to shoot up the pot plants and then get like kind of a contact high effect on people that are not wearing gas masks. So that's a smaller scale one, but that makes a big difference, right? From a strategy perspective, you're smart and your team's like, all right, we're going to go in there and gas them, throw your masks on. You don't have to have gas grenades, just light the pot plants on fire. You can knock out the other side, right?
Plus, we've seen the back of the Evolution on the back of the map.
Yeah,
it blows up the
blow up the tank, and then have that little other entry path. You know, in the high tension map that we had at E3, I think everybody probably saw the crane come down. Not only was it cool looking, but it actually had gameplay impact. So you could create faster paths to get to the loot or protect the loot, or sniping advantages. So we definitely have those, but we want ours to be, I guess, provide even more strategy than the ones that you may have seen in the past. They're not about just big explosions and spectacles. We want to make sure that gamers can utilize those things to their advantage.
Nice. We've seen the HUD from the Battlefield Hardline beta. Will the HUD be changed, because it's quite similar to Battlefield 4? Will the icons and stuff change? Yeah,
so we've been working on that. It's kind of challenging. There's kind of a language that's been created within Battlefield. So initially we're like, well, do we want to mess with that? Everybody knows what these things mean. If we change it, they're going to be like, why'd you mess up my Battlefield? But also, I've heard a lot of feedback from the beta and from some of you guys that maybe we need to do something different, make it look a little bit more like our own thing. So we've been playing with that quite a bit. We'll see where we wind up, because it's important that the information is there, most importantly for everybody. In terms of, and then the visuals, we'll figure out what we can do to make it more visceral.
Awesome. Any more questions? Last question, Steve. What do you think about Scottish independence?
Scottish independence. I think everybody should have independence. I think it's good. Why wouldn't you?
Who's a yes man?
Yeah, everybody tick yes.
Should they have independence?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
I think so.
Why wouldn't
Have you ever tasted haggis?
No, I was just talking to a guy about haggis, though. Yeah, no, I hear it's delicious and spicy, but I also
if you know what haggis is made from, you won't want it.
I know, that's why I don't want it. But I've also had blood pudding. I've had that.
Black pudding.
Black pudding.
Blood pudding.
I had blood
ladies
sausage,
and gentlemen.
maybe last night. I also, are you guys all from Scotland? Okay, I know some things about Scotland. How about this? I used to like this punk rock band from Scotland called Oi Polloi. Ever heard of them? You heard of them? Yep, they're from Scotland. That was back in the mid-90s. I like them.
I was just being born.
Yep, see, thanks for making me feel old. I was 25 then.
Steve is old.
Thank you for that.
Oh.
Yeah.
I feel old. I've got grey hair.
Why? Why do you have grey hair? You guys aren't that old.
Videos.
Yeah, that would...
Playing Battlefield.
No kidding. That would make you old.
Code.
Are you,
no, YouTube videos would make you old. Trust me, I believe it. Because the people on there, they're all about hating.
Are you...
I'm all about loving.
Yep.
I am.
Love is life.
It's great.
Are you thinking about doing another beta?
Yes.
Is it very soon?
No.
Oh well.
All right.
Can you make it soon?
Maybe. We maybe could.
Will there be any co-op in the single player like Battlefield 3 had? We had co-op missions.
Time.
Not this time? That's fine.
Not enough time. Right. Anything else? What else you got for me? Favorite color? I like maroon.
Maroon?
I do. I would like to visit Scotland, actually. I think it sounds awesome.
Wait, real question.
Are you thinking about putting like maybe more tools in place for like say cinematic creators for like spectator modes and various different combinations of camera modes and things like that?
Yeah, I think spectator mode is definitely something we could put some improvements into. I think people want to have more advanced controls and be able to make cooler videos and stuff. We haven't really gotten into working on it beyond what we did on Battlefield 4. We helped develop that for Battlefield 4. So, but I mean, I think there's a round of things that we could do potentially that if that would help you guys make cool videos, why wouldn't we want to do that? Because I love watching those videos. Let me tell you, there's some crazy stuff you guys do. Pretty awesome.
Thank you. Will there be more bigger scaled maps than smaller scale maps, or?
I would say, in terms of like really huge and really small, we're kind of in the middle.
Yeah.
In terms of how much we have. So, you know, Battlefield, I think, skews towards way more bigger ones. We're more in the middle. We have a good number of smaller, tighter maps like Row House, but then we also have the bigger ones like Blades. So we're kind of in the middle.
Nice, nice.
Yeah, the engagement distances for our game are a little different. You know, you want to kind of get a little bit closer and because of the weapons.
With the police versus criminals and stuff like that.
Yep.
Sawn-off shotguns.
I like sawn-off shotguns.
I like tasers.
The tasers are pretty sweet as well.
I like the taser. I like the riot shield's pretty good.
What's your favourite gun so far in the game?
P90.
Gadget?
Taser.
What about grenades?
I don't really
Got
mess
to
with
go with
the
the
nades.
cocktails.
I don't mess with the nades. I'm not a nades guy.
It's not an A's,
I'm not a
man.
nades guy. I always forget.
Breaching charges.
That's pretty good. I laugh about that a lot.
That's really good.
What do you guys think about that survivalist thing? You guys anti-survivalist?
Too OP.
Did
I think
OP?
delete
you
it.
hear what Thad did? What he tweaked on it?
Nah.
The new tweak? I think the new tweak's pretty good.
What's the tweak?
He changed it so instead of working on ballistics, now it works on explosive damage. So if you run into like, you know, so instead of you shooting me and then me getting up shooting you, now it's like if you run into a breaching charge, you can still get up. And that way you can't turn around and shoot somebody. So I thought
so
that
you've
was
got an advantage.
I thought that was a pretty smart way to do it. That
that's
way
level
you don't
enough
piss
stuff.
people up, piss them off, you know. But that was pretty
Balanced.
clever.
Will there be gold guns? Because obviously
Skins.
it's going to
We've
be
been
more.
talking about some interesting things like that, maybe. I prefer platinum guns over gold. Personally,
Platinum.
I'm more of a silvery kind of guy. I don't know. You guys like the gold, the
I like
bling,
the
full bling?
I like the bling. We'll get diamond camels.
Diamond encrusted. Your gangsters like could have like
That would be sick. That'd be hard to do though.
Well,
that would be sick.
well, the money be topped up that you have to steal from the banks because obviously the criminals have a £4 million helicopter trying to break into a safe for £1 million.
200 grand.
Yeah, 200,000. You know.
Yeah,
that's a good one.
Yeah, you know, I think it's
Or is
I
it
don't
just it's just a game mode? You know.
game mode.
How many game modes will you have on release?
Question from the fans, sorry, back on Twitter is, will there be anything in the game for veterans, from like franchise veterans?
Oh, you mean like some sort of like thank you bonus special thing that, you know, people that were nice would do for the community that supports them? No. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Yeah, I think we're going to do something like that. I can't tell you what it is right now. Wreck the secret surprise. What are you out to wreck the surprise?
Yep.
Don't wreck the surprise.
But it's a diamond encrusted gun.
Now there you
Corral.
wreck the surprise. Diamond encrusted gun is a pretty good idea, I will say. Maybe if we did one,
One.
that'd be pretty sick.
I think you should do one for about a month and then just take it out of the game. What about doing stuff like that?
Super
You know, like
rare.
you had,
That'd be pretty cool. What's going on here with these things? What are these things?
I'm not entirely sure.
Nuts.
They're nuts.
Nuts, I think.
We've got nuts, ladies and gentlemen.
All right, looks like I gotta go.
But yeah, thank you very much, Steve, for the
You
interview.
bet, guys. Yeah, for whatever I did. I don't know.
Yeah.